Hello, my friend. Welcome to a short edition of Total Body Conditioning, and this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a 30-minute practice session for anyone who is rebuilding their body after an injury. And I'm going to use the specific example of my lower back injury. I had a herniated disc, L4, L5, and I had a wonderful team of medical and wellness professionals that helped put me back together. So I'm going to be sharing some things about how I regained my range of motion. I got to a point where I was pain-free, and I was able to strengthen around this injury. So I know a lot of you have told me you have some lower back pain and injury. First of all, I'm not a doctor, and so I'm not here to prescribe, but if you have received a diagnosis, maybe you've had surgery, or you're just coming back from a painful time or a time of injury, try this workout on, because it's going to be very gentle and it's going to give you ideas for how to rebuild your body from the inside out. So this is going to work for people that have shoulder pain and knee pain, and really specifically back pain. My job is to help you get your quality of life back, to help you find ways to, in a healthy way, to relieve pain, to strengthen again, and to do the things you love. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to do a little postural assessment. So you need a wall for this. And I'd like you to stand with your back against a wall, heels, hips, shoulders, and head. And then reach back behind you. Feel that curve of your lower back and feel the curve behind your neck. Okay, now as you step away from the wall, that's your neutral spine, right? So if there's a curve there and there, I want you to do your best to keep those curves. We're going to roll our shoulders up and put our shoulder blades on our back. Notice that a lot of times we have shoulders, our shoulder blades are up here. I'm going to ask you to bring your shoulders onto your back. With your feet hip distance apart, bring your hands in front of you, interlace your fingers, and sit your hips down like you're sitting in a chair. And notice that, again, I've got that natural curve in my spine. I'm trying to keep neutral all the time. Okay, so coming in and out, I want to keep that neutral spine. And that's probably one of the best things I can offer you. If you do have lower back pain, you need to work towards neutral spine. Try sitting on the ground. And if we come down here into this in yoga, this is called Gandasana. It's staff pose. Feel your sitting bones on the ground and find that neutral spine again. What we're going to avoid is rounding the spine, right? Whether it's through the shoulders or the low back. So shoulders on the back. You can walk your hands forward if you like, but keep that natural curve of the spine. Okay? So just a couple things to keep in mind, that little wall test, or when you're sitting, try to find that, that super neutral spine. All right, let's just get warmed up by lifting our knees. Okay, so whatever you found at the wall, whatever you found in your seat, you're going to do that here. Okay, the core starts to just really hug in nice and tight. Bring your hands to the back of your head, press your head back like that's the wall. And now we're just going to do a little rotation toward that knee. Moving slow, moving with the core in mind, the core engaged, the neutral spine in mind. Just like that. All right, march it out again in place, find your neutral spine, and we'll go back to those squats. Okay, hips back, abs engaged. Warming up the muscles, taking deep breaths. If you want a little more cardio today, I'd like you to push pause right now And either jump on a bike or a treadmill or head out for a walk. Even if it's just 10 minutes, go ahead and get a little extra cardio. But as you do so, keep that spine in mind. Okay, so some people think it's a good idea to stretch and foam roll before a workout. If you're in a lot of pain, if you feel a lot of tension, tightness, specifically in your low back, it might make sense to do some stretching and foam rolling first to help you get that range of motion. So let's do a couple of stretches now that I think are going to be really helpful for specifically a lower back. Got my notes. All right, so we want to start with quads. You can use a chair, a wall. I've got this nice handrail. I'm at Marina Del Rey, California today. Toes behind you. And then you're just gonna bend the knee. Okay, that's already a pretty decent stretch for the quad. If you have a chair or something you can put that foot on, that might feel good. If it's really easy for you without twisting, if it's really easy for you to reach back and just grab that ankle, go ahead. If not, you're getting a nice stretch without even grabbing. Okay, and then we're gonna take the toes back, soften this front knee and press that heel down to the ground. So move from here down into your calf. And then just tuck your tailbone a little bit, get some space and length right here, hip flexor. Take nice deep breaths. We wanna be in each stretch for about 30 seconds. If you have longer, pause and stay a little longer. All right, the next one's for the hamstring. Step the foot in close. We're gonna hinge from the hips and watch my back. Neutral spine, toes come up. I'm not putting a lot of weight on my legs. I'm just here to support the lower back, that natural curve. Chest pulls forward, toes lift up. Abs stay tight and breathe. There's your hamstring stretch. Take both feet side by side, come down into your little chair, and then let's do a couple of cat and cow stretches. Just kind of checking in, low back, how does it feel? Is there tension, tightness? We want to avoid pain. And then rise up, step the opposite toes back, and then just bend that knee. Remember, that's just fine. That's a nice passive little stretch. If you're getting the green light, go ahead and take a hold. Work on your balance a little bit. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Go ahead and step back and press that heel down. Find a calf stretch, and then just tuck your tailbone a little bit. This always feels really good to my low back. Once you tuck that tailbone, you're putting some length and space in your low back. Lift your ribs a little. Find your hip flexor. Perfect. And then step a little closer, hinge from the hips, push back, toes up, and here we go for hamstring. So again, if you have the time before your workouts to do a little stretching, a little foam rolling, that might help with your range of motion. So you're not coming in cold. Step both feet together, support your weight. And again, some cat and cow. Lower back stretches. Dun, dun, dun. And then come up to standing. All right, so see how that feels. See if anything has kind of loosened up. So we're gonna do a couple of kind of activity of daily life type of things. So I want you to be here close to the back if you've got a yoga mat under your feet or a workout mat. Bring your hands to your hips, lift in and up through the belly, and then hinge forward. Okay, so there's a flat back. Bring your hands to your shins. Press, so you've got that neutral spine. Bend your knees and allow your fingers to come to the floor, and you're gonna walk your hands out front. Come into a plank, and then back the way we came. We're bending our knees, walk the hands back, press to shins, lengthen, walk up to stand. Let's do that again, one more time. So it's kind of a modified version of inchworm. The back is neutral, neutral, neutral. See that? It never really comes out of its neutral alignment. Bend the knees, the back stays neutral. Come back, come back, come back. Press and rise up. Shake it out, okay? Really, really great core exercise. Take your feet wide and bring your hands out in front of you, interlace your fingers. All right, so we're really gonna cinch up tight through the middle, and I want you to do a tiny twist. Just a tiny twist, and you're gonna find the edges of your comfortable range of motion. You can slow it down, use your core. Go to the point where your hips are staying stable. You're just feeling the core muscles working. Rotation is actually a good strengthening exercise to support those little muscles that support the spine. Let's go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in the middle and release. Notice how I'm going from exercise to exercise with a pause in between. A lot of injury happens setting up, like on the way in or the way out of a yoga pose or an exercise. So we're really wise and intentional about the way we transition. Okay, core strong, arms forward. We're gonna do a version of Frankenstein kicks. Now this can be really hard on the low back, so we're gonna modify by going toe tap forward, toe tap forward. Neutral spine, core engaged. Take it up a few inches, just a little, it's like you're brushing your foot off the earth. Back feels good. You go a little higher. Okay, you'll start to feel for your back where you've reached your range of motion. So a Frankenstein kick is coming all the way up to the hands. That might not be in the cards for your low back on any given day. We're strengthening hip flexors and we're really working around that neutral spine. Eight more. Your height. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause with your feet on the floor. Lower your arms. Neutral. Okay, let's do a little circuit. So we're going to put 2 exercises together back to back, and then we're going to do a little cardio and a little core. Okay, so strength, strength, cardio, core. First exercise is squats. You know how much I love squats. So grip your hands, sink back into your heels. A good little target is touch your elbows to your thighs, lift your chin up, and really focus on that neutral spine. You need the strongest core you can. Think about your tailbone reaching back, your spine lengthening, your chest reaching forward. We're gonna go 8 more. 7, 6. Suck it in, keep it long, keep it neutral. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your hands. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Arms stretch forward. We're gonna lunge backwards. And again, we're gonna start small. So start with a tap and a tap. If that's working, you're gonna go a lunge. Good, keep it strong. You've got 8 more. Straight up, arms to your sides. Shake it off. Okay, let's take it up to some knee lifts, a little cardio in here. Super focused on neutral spine. So if you can see yourself in a mirror sideways, keep that natural curve in your low back and in the back of your neck. Shoulder blades on your back. Let's do 8 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to come right down to the ground for some an elbow plank. So remember how we got there before. Hinge from the hips, hands on your shins, lengthen the spine, bend your knees, and then you're going to inch your way out to a plank. Once you find your plank, drop your knees. Core stays strong. We're going to lower to elbows. I like to interlace my fingers in an elbow plank. It makes me feel like I've got more stability. So I want you to squeeze your hands together, press your forearms down, and you're just hovering with your navel in tight. You can make it more challenging by tucking your toes and lifting the legs off the ground. And it's kind of fun to go back and forth. Main thing is that neutral spine. So try not to let your hips pike up or dip down. And again, you can stay with one or the other. Let's hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and lower all the way down to the ground. We're going to bring our hands right by the shoulders, point your toes back, and then take the smallest lift up and down. The smallest lift up and down. And you're really just testing the water to see how that lower back feels. Shoulder blades on your back. This is what we really need, is more strength in the low back, less rounding, right? Less stretch. So if this is really feeling good to you and you want a little bit more, you could take your fingertips off the sides of your exercise mat and lift a little higher. Be really intentional about listening to your body and looking for sharp pain, places where you hold your breath, where you could point with one finger to a place that hurts. Let's avoid that. Feel. One more time, up and back. And then the hands come to the shoulders. All right, getting up from the ground, pull your shoulders onto your back, hug your navel to your spine, and use the strength of your arms to bring you to your knees. All right, let's get to this tabletop position. And then here, again, abs in, neutral spine. One of the best things my physical therapist gave me is this when I was trying to strengthen my core from the inside out. Go ahead and bring one hand and the opposite knee off the ground. One hand, opposite knee. And then start to reach out. Hand forward, leg back. Return to all fours and then hover. One hand, opposite knee. Stay right there, kind of hover, breathe. And then extend. One hand, opposite leg. Try to keep your hips square. And so as we go back and forth, continue to try that 1 inch first, then out. And return just slowly, right? No one wants to get injured again when you're trying to rebuild after an injury. So, you know, injuries actually become our best teachers. Anytime you've had any kind of injury, you take on a new level of respect for your body, right? And hopefully that's it, not fear, but respect. All right, we're gonna come back up into standing. So remember how we're doing that, inch by inch. Tuck your toes, keep your knees bent, Walk your hands back. Neutral spine, press to lift halfway. Hands on your thighs, lift from the hips and not from the back. And there we are again, standing. Let's do another little cardio piece. If you have an exercise ball, that's a wonderful way to build the core from the inside out. Jump on that. Think about being more stable, more plugged in, more neutral. All right, good. Back to our squats. Interlace your hands. So you probably are feeling like there's no rhyme or reason to this workout. Really, what I'm trying to get you to do is move your body in your pain-free range of motion. Move your body in a way that helps you keep that neutral spine. We'll just do 4 more of these. And back to standing, arms at your sides, lunges. So the arms come out in front. Remember, we start by testing the waters. If that's a go ahead, maybe it's a little lunge. This is really great for people who have the knee injury. Backward lunges and just don't go all the way down. If that is a green light for you, bust it out, baby. Core stays strong. And back up to standing. Hit that core, hit that cardio. And if you've got another favorite way of doing cardio, go for it. Jump on your bike, sprint around your block, run in place. This is just a good way to use legs and arms with core engaged, guaranteed neutral. And get your heart rate up a little. And stop. Mountain pose, come to the back of your mat. Hands from the hips. Put the bend in the knee. Hands on the shins. Bend more. Inch out, keep your neutral, keep your neutral. Plank to knees to elbows. And either press into the ground. Press into the ground and either be on your knees or your toes, or alternate back and forth. Really strong through that low belly. Nice little circuit. And let your belly come down. Hands at your shoulders. Now that you're warm, you might be getting an invitation to move a little bigger. Don't get too aggressive. Less is more when we're working our way back from an injury. Let's lift and lower just 4 more times. And pressing into the ground, suck your belly button in, press to a tabletop. Hover one hand, opposite knee, and out we go. And we'll just do 4 of those. Hover and reach. Nice and slow. Hover and reach. Hover and reach. Nicely done. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of stretching. Take your knees wide and let your hips slowly come back towards your heels. You can keep yourself a little more upright. So if I stay on my elbows, my back stays more neutral. If I stretch my arms out, that's gonna cause more rounding in my back on those pain days. Really wanna avoid that rounding. So this is a nice version of child's pose. Take deep breaths and see if you can feel breath happening in your lower back. Breathing into the back of your lungs. Come up to a tabletop position. Knees come closer. Tuck your toes and then come up into that bent knee version of downward facing dog. So press into your hands, lengthen. Imagine someone pulling your hips up and back away from your fingertips. So really stretching your body long here. The knees are going to stay bent. And drop the knees once again. Swing the legs out in front of you. And move whatever is underneath you. Find your tall spine, Gandasana, and neutral. When we say tall spine, we really mean like find neutral right here. Hands relaxed, shoulders blades on your back. If you have a yoga strap, you could loop that around your feet, or just really any kind of band that's going to help you pull forward without rounding forward. So I'm just going to keep my hands right here. Lift and lengthen. Breathe deep. Toes come back towards you. So on the days when you have inflammation, when there's a lot of pain, you might want to consider more stretching and a little less pounding for your body. Move your body in a way that feels more gentle, restorative, supportive. Okay, we're going to swing the legs around, come up to a kneeling position, and we're going to get into the hip flexors. And folks, I think this is probably the best thing we can do when we have, you know, kind of that everyday achy lower back stuff. Okay, so you're going to take 1 foot forward and start with spine straight up and down, tuck the tailbone the way we did earlier, and then test the waters. What's it like to go forward an inch or 2 or 3? Where can you find a nice stretch in the front of your hip flexor, your quads, that doesn't tug and pull at your low back? Find that one. And I remember for me, when I was in a lot of pain, like for me, it was always straight upright right here. That was plenty of stretch, and that's all I needed. Any more than that just really hurt my low back. So I was respectful of that and eventually got my movement back. Okay, slowly switch. If you have something to help you, go ahead and just kind of take the opposite leg forward, lift and lengthen, hinging to a comfortable place. Find a comfortable place. Maybe more, maybe less. Your body knows, you know, your body is a wise teacher, and especially when we have an injury, the body's just trying to teach you something like less is more, pay attention, slow down, stop forcing, ask permission, you know, all those things. Ease your way out. Use the leg that's in front, put some weight on, tucking the back toes, allow yourself to come up to standing. And we're going to end the way we started, just standing. If you want to go back to your wall, you can, finding that imprint of low back, neck. Okay, so just showing up right here in your neutral spine. I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you do, pull your shoulders up by your ears. Exhale, let those shoulder blades live on your back. I hope you feel amazing having a little bit of movement. I hope your back is happy. Thanks for joining me and taking great care of yourself. See you next time.